Alright everyone, welcome back. Up next we have Wario World by Saria100. Uh, yeah, take it away.
Alright, I'm Saria, and this is Wario World, and I'm joined by Red and Nick.
Hello.
This game starts really quickly, so I'll let them explain all that, and I'll just start. I'll give a countdown, and then the run will start, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to Wario's World. This game is very fast-paced, and there's very little downtime compared to some other games that you might have seen in this marathon so far. But it's a very fun one, and there's a lot of cool tricks. So we're gonna head straight up here. And into the first level.
So yeah, do you want to explain how there's 4 levels or there's 4 worlds, 3 levels, all that stuff?
Yeah, so there's 4 worlds in the game. There's 2 levels and 1 ending boss fight in each one. There's a lot of cool mechanics in each level, but there's a lot of trickery to get through a lot of it very fast, and you're gonna see a lot of it. The first world is pretty basic, especially compared to the rest of them. Each world you have to grab more red jewels, which are the collectible that you need to grab to be able to finish the game. And they're in these little trap doors.
You need a certain amount of red jewels to unlock the boss at the end of the level, which increases each world. So this one's going to be 3, then 4, then 5.
Yeah.
So as you progress through, the only thing in any percent, the only thing you're going to collect is the red jewels. I mean, there's all kinds of other stuff you collect, but for the most part, you just ignore those and just get the red jewels, just the minimum amount of red jewels, and defeat the boss and move on to the next level.
Yeah.
It's very linear. You won't be, there's no skipping levels or anything like that. It's just you go through every level in order to the final boss.
Yeah, there is a lot of branching to what red jewels you can collect, but there is a fastest ones you can grab. So the speed run is generally get from point A to point B for the most part, but there's a lot of cool tricks on the way. We're actually coming up to our first skip now. So this bridge will break, and it'll normally bring you into a special area where you'd have to try and get out. But if you jump at just the right time after charging, you're actually going to be able to skip past that because you can get over here early.
I guess the idea of that is so that the player would be introduced to the unicorn layer, which is the place you fall into after you fall off the level. Hopefully you won't see that later, but maybe.
Yeah, there's a few places where I can fall down, and it's not very fun to deal with.
Yeah, you don't just respawn or something. You have to.
So something you're going to notice he does here is every single time a boss fight is defeated, he just quits out of the level. Because after the boss is defeated and you get that little, jewel in the pause menu that shows, the purple boss face, you can just quit out of the level. You don't have to go through that animation that happens after. Now we're going to go into our second level.
That was a good first level.
Yeah, so this level is it's pretty deep, not too bad, but there's one spot where it's not too hard to lose a minute right off the bat if I mess up the trick. So
yeah.
It's the level itself is easy except for that one part which you'll see in a minute.
It'll come up very soon. Most of these red jewel areas are really easy, by the way. That's another thing. Most of the difficult movement is actually in this outer part of the world. There are some difficult ones, but usually they're pretty easy to go through.
The ones in any percent are all pretty easy for the most part.
Yeah. So after this one, you're gonna see a something called an arena skip. I believe every single arena is skippable except for one of them, and this is one of the ones you can skip. Basically, all you have to do is ledge grab along the edge here, the entire thing. So we'll see if he gets it.
Yeah, I got it, but that was a little sketch at the end there.
It was a little slow, but he did get it. That's what's important.
If I had missed that,
there's 2 things that could happen there. You could get sucked into the arena, which you're stuck for 60 seconds, or you could fall down, which when you respawn back up, you get stuck in the arena. So you just have to Like if you miss that, you just lose a lot of time basically.
Yeah, you'll lose like almost a minute. In best case, if you fall
Yeah,
down, you
yeah.
lose it more.
Also, another thing that I neglected to mention, you'll see that he'll try and ground pound through that part early, because when 2 jewels enter that statue, the little trapdoor below it does become active. That is assuming you already have 3 jewels, and if you're in
Yeah,
the right
it-
spot, in the right way, you should be able to clip through it and go down a little bit early.
It's a very small time save, but it doesn't lose any time to go for, so it'll just always go for it.
Another thing, you can skip this little phase of him shooting these spike balls, but it requires a very well-timed charge in the middle of the arena. He has one more chance of getting it here to skip the second one. After this phase right here. See if he
This
gets
is probably
it.
what I would call like the first big run for this boss right here.
Yeah,
because
this
of
is
that.
it's a very, like, I don't think it's necessarily a small window, but it's a very strange window.
And it's also like on a slope, so it's just awkward in general to do.
Yeah. And now we're gonna go on to our first true boss of the game. Every single
First
level
world
has a
boss.
boss at the end of it, but this is the first, like, actual boss. You can think of it as the final boss of this world.
Oh my god.
This boss can be done in under a minute. Because
Yeah,
of,
this is the shortest one.
yeah, like a stun lock thing you can do where if he does it right, basically the boss never gets a chance to hit.
Yeah, so if you hit this boss's head, it automatically makes her fall down, and you're able to do that if you time a ground pound correctly. He did miss it there, but he grabbed
missed that
onto
one.
the thing here, so he's able to just jump back up and do it. You see the actual way you're supposed to do that, but you can hit her head early if you ground pound at the right time.
I missed it twice. That's pretty
It's
unlucky.
pretty awkward timing, so
Okay, I think this is RNG if she does this. If she
Yeah,
does,
it
you
is.
lose a lot of time.
there's a few different things you'll do in between attacks like that, which is spinning around or jumping, or just all kinds of stuff, and they lose different amounts of time. So depending on how badly RNG you get, this to be a pretty bad boss fight.
Okay, that's what it's actually supposed to look like.
Yeah, the
See if
idea
he
is you
gets
do
it
that
one
every
time.
single time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's no, like, visual cue or anything, and there's not an audio cue either. It's purely based off of feeling, which makes it a little bit difficult to do.
So there's a little bit of a visual cue with a number in the top left. You can like use that. That's what I use as a visual cue, but as you can see, it's still not perfect.
Yeah, the best thing is just to like practice it a lot and get the feel for it.
Now we're going into World 2.
So World 2 has a pretty big spike in difficulty, in my opinion. And that's because there is a specific trick in this game that we have not mentioned yet that is used a lot throughout the rest of it called a super jump. And it's a set of frame-perfect inputs with the A button that basically causes Wario, I think it causes him to jump twice, and it makes him go really high in the air. So you've seen him do charge jumps earlier, but later in this level, you'll see him do a super jump. He goes like 3 times as high with it. It is a very difficult trick to pull off, but you'll see it in a moment.
It breaks a lot of things in this game and is used all over the place.
Yeah, it's a 1 frame input, and this game runs at 60 FPS, so it's not easy.
There are 2 variants of it. There's a buffered and an unbuffered method.
we'll be
Whichever
doing
one
the-
you prefer. The buffered one obviously loses a little bit of time, but it depends on what you prefer, which one you'll find easier. I believe Saria is going to do purely unbuffered here, which is
Just
a little bit harder to do get good height.
Yeah, unbuffered has a drawback of a little bit harder to control the height, but it is quicker to attempt, and I personally find it less awkward,
And
so I do it.
So we're going to see it here. He's going to have a few attempts at it.
There's third try. That's not
See,
See,
bad.
there you go. See, that was a little bit of a weaker super jump. You can see he still went higher than he normally would.
Normally, at that part, you're supposed to go around and defeat that hand boss to open that gate so you can get through, but if you can super jump, you can just jump right over that and skip that whole thing, which saves like probably 15 seconds.
You can actually skip that without super jump, but it's like way harder.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
It's like 1 in a million.
I've been kind of out of the loop in this game for a little while now.
Oh, that's
I have to look
extremely
back
good.
at that.
Trust me,
Okay.
I spent a lot of time grinding it out, and I was like, I don't even know if I got it once actually. I think I maybe got it once.
I think you got it once, right? Didn't you discover it?
Well, yeah. Okay, Okay, so not much to say.
Here's
an
another arena skip. This arena skip is insanely easy. All you do is charge down. So we're going to do a second super jump here. Again, you don't need a very strong super jump. You can have a weak super jump and still get up here.
Yeah, again, normally you're supposed to go around, but like you're supposed to take a
Oh.
long way around there. But you can just get up there, and that breaks the route completely. That makes like the route in this level, the route with super jump and without super jump is significantly different.
Yeah. It just makes a lot of... It just completely changes the route and how...
Yeah.
And like the speed of certain red crystals that you can grab are completely changed based off of super jumps. Obviously, you didn't need very strong super jumps there to get through. And you also, if you noticed, Saria grabbed 4 red gems instead of just 4. So it does increase each world. I believe that was mentioned before, but I thought I'd still mention it again. This baby is by far the most annoying baby on the planet, besides maybe Baby Mario.
I think Sean's might be more annoying personally, but that's a different discussion we can have.
Anyway, yeah, in terms of the bosses of this game, this is probably on the easier side.
Yeah, it is pretty easy to do for the most part, but it can be awkward to aim the little like pillars
sure. And also
at the baby. It's just like the depth perception of the GameCube, pretty much.
there's a small amount of RNG in where the pillars spawn after he gets hit, so that depending on where they spawn, it can be kind of awkward to avoid the lasers and grab them at the same time.
That was a good.
I don't believe there's a bad or good RNG necessarily though.
I've
like,
had
where
some
they
that I
spawn.
like better than others.
Yeah. So obviously in that stage specifically, we didn't have any super jumps that were necessarily like, necessarily had to be insanely good to get through, but.
And also, all the super jumps in that level are like no risk. Like you miss it, you can just try again.
Yeah,
they're
that too.
They're all up against the wall.
Yeah,
I'm not-
whereas, like some places in the game, missing a super jump can be very bad. And you can
There
lose
was a
lot of time.
very risky run that was actually just ratted out. I just figured out about that like 3 minutes before the run.
Yeah, I will be going for that newer one.
Yeah, there's 2 very low risk super jumps that replace it that makes it about 5 seconds faster. It's pretty cool.
Lower risk and easier, and faster.
So this is there are like target things that you have to grab to get through this
Oh,
one.
that's so
That
bad.
is unfortunate.
So what he was trying to do there is, you can get up on top of that tent and skip like a little mini boss thing. It's like a clown gate. It's like an electric fence that you're supposed to break down. But you can climb over the tent and get past it. But what he did there is he went too far up the tent, and there's no collision up there, so he just fell through.
Yeah, and that shows what he skipped earlier in the very first level as well.
Oh yeah,
With
the
bird
uniform
falling.
color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
so that's
different
what-
in each world, but like it's
Each
generally
level,
the
yeah.
same. Oh, it's
Same,
each
like-
level?
Yeah, it's each level. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Man,
I think you
this
gotta
tent
delay your second
sucks.
jump more.
Yeah, it's awkward because the second you get up there, the game forces
Alright,
you down so fast.
I'm gonna do this for now. I'm
Yeah,
not.
so this is what you would normally skip. It doesn't
normally
take that
you-
much time to do the first one. There's another one later that saves much more time, and it's not that bad, but it is a high risk factor.
It's not as risky as missing that one like I did. That was really unlucky. That hasn't happened to me in so long.
Yeah,
I'm a
'cause-
little sad about that.
It should take you all the way back to the beginning of the level for some reason. If you fall like in that first part of the level, it takes you all the way back to the beginning.
Okay, here's another super jump.
So again, normally you'd go all the way to the right and then go up, and there's some stuff up there. But he's just gonna skip right to there with the super jump.
Yeah, and the super jump itself isn't that difficult to pull off, but getting it consistently is...
But yeah, it's frame
Difficult.
perfect, so there's gonna be that inconsistency in general.
So there's another skip right here. If you hug the bottom right of this thing, you can skip a, I guess it's like a mini boss, kind
Yeah,
of.
it's called crystal entity. It's like this. Yeah, it's a mini. I guess you could call it a mini boss. But you get trapped in this bubble where you have to fight this thing, and it takes like 20 seconds probably. But you can skip it just by not triggering it.
So-
basically.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure this is the only arena in the game that you cannot skip,
That'd be-
Yeah.
to our knowledge.
Or yeah.
And it'll hopefully be the only arena in this run that I will be taking. I really don't want to miss another one, although there are some that are very possible to miss.
There's some really hard ones.
So-
This one is, as of right now, we're just gonna say it's impossible to skip.
Yeah, with current knowledge, it's impossible, but there's theories and there's definitely some possibility that this will happen someday, and there's a bounty actually. So if anybody can actually figure this out and you want some money, then not only will you save us time, but you'll also get some money. So it's a win-win.
Basically, yeah, you just have to wait this out, and it's usually I just sit here.
I guess if you need to use the bathroom or something in the run, you could go do that.
And this one, he's gonna use the slope of that roof there to launch him onto the platform.
Here's the second
Okay.
electric fence skip. That one might be a little bit easier, but it has a very high risk factor because if you do mess it up, then you fall all the way down.
So basically, there's a gap, a small gap in between the back of the electric fence and the front of that like pillar. And by sliding there, you have to have enough speed to get through it. So by sliding on that roof like that, he gets enough speed to go through the wall. And it just really consistent. Normally, like before that method was discovered, you'd have to super jump there, which was pretty risky.
Oh, and he did the early flip there for the trap door.
And now the clown. You're gonna go for the fast clown boss?
Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, that's why not.
So yeah, this game, honestly, one thing that's worth mentioning, I guess, is this game doesn't actually get too many big time saves found very often. This is like, I'd say, one of the biggest time saves found in like the recent history of this game.
It's like 8 seconds.
Yeah, it's a. So you used to do this boss fight a little bit differently, but somebody, I don't know who it was, but they
Yeah.
realized that you could do it faster, and it saves a few seconds. And I personally find it easier. than
Normally,
the,
like
other
before
strat.
that, you would just do it the normal, like intended way. Basically, you just do it as the
Oh,
game.
no. Oh my god.
Oh, no.
Okay, that was kind of dumb of me. I didn't think I made it on there. So now I'm gonna have to do something that's not very fun, but I'll try to make it work. Actually, I think that's not how I'm supposed to do it.
Yeah.
Okay,
you
so I'm
do
doing
it.
the boss fight a little incorrectly because I made a mistake, but it's not that big of a deal. Now he's gonna be doing this.
Yeah, if you fall off as he's going to the other side, it messes the whole thing up, and because you're not on the side you're supposed to be anymore.
Yeah.
So that is kind of a lot of time lost. But
Yeah, when I combine with the starting, this has been a pretty rough level, but this level can be sometimes annoying, honestly.
it seems like
It's
this
hard.
level's the type of level that when it goes wrong, it goes really wrong.
Yeah, this is one of the harder levels in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. Especially in 100.
That's what it was supposed to look like there.
Yeah,
was
that
the,
bit we got 2 times, and it skips one of the cycles he does.
the game. Since the clown's over there, the game assumes you're supposed to be over there, so it just spawns you over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the way that works is that there's like 2 platforms, and when you fall off, it always spawns you on the platform you started on. So if you can get him on the other platform and walk off, you'll spawn on the other platform where he is. And okay, so here is like one of the easiest boss fights, unless you be dumb.
Yeah, this boss fight was quite literally just like waiting and punching. That's the entire thing.
Yeah, it's another
I think
one
there
where,
is like a cycle skip that's frame perfect, but it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, it saves like 13 seconds if you get both of them, but it's frame perfect, so it's... I mean, I've never gotten it in a run. It's really hard.
Yeah,
this
it is
same
frame
boss.
perfect.
This kind of boss is just it's an auto scroller basically.
Yeah, most of the final bosses I find actually
Oh,
are
I
some
messed
of the
up.
easiest.
And that's how you mess this boss up. You just miss punching him and then you miss a cycle.
I want to point out that he said you can't mess this up unless you're dumb, and then he literally messed it up.
Yep, and that's exactly because I was dumb. No other reason I messed up. Okay, so I am gonna have to do an extra cycle here, which kind of sucks, but oh well.
It's a perfect moment to do the cycle skip to make up that fat bit of time.
I think Yamik is the only one who's gotten both of them in a run.
Yeah, once again, putting out early.
Yeah, you do that just everywhere.
Alright, so
Now,
that was the
World
beginning of the
3,
game. That was all fun and games, but now is when it starts to get a little serious.
They need
Nope.
a little bit higher super jumps.
yeah, World 3 is where runs go to die, basically.
There is
Yeah.
some really dumb boss fights. Actually,
World
there's really just
3
one.
is definitely the hardest. world in the
for
game.
sure.
I mean, the hardest level is in World 4, but World 3 is consistently the hardest.
Well, both levels here, like Beanstalk Way and Chipping Nuns, are both very difficult. And then you also have the spider, so
Like a
Yeah.
Spider Atticus.
yeah.
We'll get to him when we get to him, but
Yeah, there's a lot to say about that.
this level isn't necessarily the hardest level in the world, but it is easy to mess up. And there's one specific trick in the middle of it that is very difficult to pull off, which is an arena skip. I think there's another one that's possible, but it loses a bunch of time to go for the easier one.
I think
Yeah,
he's
so
gonna move to
there's two ways of doing this. You can do it from the top or from the bottom. I do it from the top, which is a lot easier, but it is slower. So if I miss it, I do lose a lot of time.
But it is significantly safer though.
So yeah, I just did a glitch there. Probably
yeah,
nobody realized that.
Oh yeah, if you get in the top left, it gives you a number of the power of your slam, which is basically when you slam them. If you get 3.8, for some reason, the hurt box of the snowman that you slam just stays there. I
And then it
don't...
just keep hitting the
Yeah,
Mangler over and over until he dies.
it's weird. I'm not sure why that
Oh.
happens, but...
It was fixed in the Japanese version, so that's
Oh, that's interesting.
That was an unfortunate mistake. So
Yeah,
I have
so
to
what you
fight
did
this
there
guy.
normally you go like towards the camera and try to avoid the trigger for this guy, but he missed and triggered him, so you have to fight him to get out of here. It's a little bit of a time loss, and that's another risk, I guess, of taking the top is that you could accidentally do this.
And have the boss fight go really bad.
Yeah, I mean, I often forget it's there when I go up here as well. So
Yeah, that's another thing.
And this guy's also attacking me. Okay, so if I miss this arena skip, I'm gonna be losing quite a bit of time. But if I hit it, it'll be
so
not that bad.
the other way to do this is you would.
Oh no! I got pushed
that was-
down. That's so bad.
That
Okay,
was
well,
just,
now I'm
that was
trapped.
Just bad luck. That was just really bad luck.
Yeah, so there's two ways of doing this. If you come down here directly, you can super jump over it, but the problem is you need the highest possible super jump to actually get this.
You also have one shot at it. You have to get it or you miss it.
That one
Yeah.
from the top is, I think, what do? You just walk off in a specific direction, right?
You just punch and then you hold right and then you ground pound and it's really easy. There I probably should have killed the enemy that was coming after me, but I was a little greedy and thought I could make it. So unfortunately, that's a lot of time lost there. But
You didn't even get a chance to try it.
I didn't. And after fighting that Crystal Andy, I'm losing very large amount of time. But it's fine.
But this is a good representation of what would probably happen anyway.
Yeah.
Missing that arena is just kind of part of the game.
It's where runs come to die.
Yeah, pretty much. So from here, you're just gonna go straight to the next trapdoor, pretty much.
Yeah, the movement in this part, if you do the optimal one, is very difficult to do as well.
Yeah, because on the ice is slippery and also it's all angular. I don't know, it's not straight basically.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places to fall. I mean, it's just kind of risky.
So another one of these secret levels. There are two types of them. I forgot to mention that earlier. The ones that you slam down, they have to use like an enemy or something to slam down into to get through, are like Are they? I think they're supposed to be more difficult, but they're kind of not.
Well, they're
just
like a
the same
different style.
difficulty. Yeah, that too.
It's like they're in the sky, kind of like the Mario Sunshine secrets, whereas the other ones are underground.
Yeah,
That
usually the ones where you pile drive them is like more platforming based, and then these ones are puzzle based.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. Or something like this, which
If you could call this a puzzle, I mean,
yeah.
what-
I don't know
Yeah,
what.
that was a bad example, but yeah.
Here's this. Here's the second arena in this level. This
this arena skip is definitely the easiest one because all you do is hug the
you
top.
just walk on the side there.
You literally just walk. There's not a charge, nothing like that. You just walk.
Another one of these guys, which you can do the same exact glitch and it works the same
In the
way.
top left, you got a 4.4, so it wouldn't work. So the easiest way to get a 3.8 is to just jump and then slam as soon as possible.
Yeah.
That's not too easy sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes
you just can't get
won't
it.
work. Yeah,
Sometimes you
that's
just
another
won't.
thing. Yeah, so that one was a 3.8.
Another thing to mention is that while the 3.8 glitch is happening, if you dash or punch, it cancels it.
Yeah, so
It's just a weird trick.
It's a weird little trick. But it is good. It saves a good amount of time. So. One of the big reasons the Japanese version isn't used.
Yeah, among other things, but
Yeah, but
mainly
this is a
that.
big because this doesn't work on it.
Very interesting how they patched that.
Yeah, they patched a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, this is one of the rare games from back then that the English version actually came out before the Japanese version.
Yeah, the US version was first, then the PAL, then the Japanese version came out like a year and a half later, for some reason. And the US and PAL versions are exactly the same.
Have you ever tested to see if like any of the PAL languages are slightly faster because of that one thing in the beginning?
The one, what, the text box?
Yeah.
I think it's just,
I think
haven't
it's the same
tested.
amount of text boxes regardless.
Yeah.
Alright, here we go with Windy Winster.
Okay, this guy.
This guy isn't that difficult at a boss fight, but it's really easy to mess up.
Yeah, basically he goes around the level, and you're supposed to throw these things that he drops into the fire that you then pile drive him into the ground and let him hit the fire that comes out of it. But you can mess up the cycle, and the fire will go way too early or too late, and it will just... Basically, if you mess up the cycle too bad, he does a thing where he fills Wario with air or something, and that takes a long time. Hopefully that won't happen, but
I don't want
just
to pick up the boulder, man.
yeah, that happens.
Okay, that's
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah, that's really unlucky. So he dropped the boulder in a really unfortunate spot. So I think I'm gonna have to have him let me fill me up, but it's whatever.
Another example of a boss that's... There's not too much you can do to save time on this, but you can sure lose a lot of time.
Yeah.
So you either do it right, or you do it really, really wrong.
Yeah, it's the same with the
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 same
other
with-
boss fight too that we're gonna see
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, that's true.
And Spider Atticus is by far the biggest run killer of this game.
Yeah, for sure.
Ah, he got away
Oh.
from me.
And that last one, he gets up and runs away a lot faster, so real easy for that to happen.
If you look away from him, he doesn't get inside of Wario.
Ah, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, so that was too early.
I did not know you could charge to get him out of that, to be honest.
Yeah. But at that point, like that's a lot of time lost.
Alright. So here we come on
Beanstalk
Beanstalk Way.
So, Beanstalk Way has a boss fight called Spider Atticus, and it is, by a long shot, the hardest section of this run. So we'll see that. It doesn't look very difficult, but it's pretty bad.
It's not very fun to deal with him. But when he goes right, it's probably one of the best feelings in the game you can get, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay, that's if it ever goes right.
It happens every now and then. But otherwise, this level has a few annoying little things, but overall, it's about the same difficulty probably as Shivering Mountains, I would say.
God, I'm trying to punch.
Except for the waterfall skip that we're about to do, I guess.
Yeah, this waterfall skip is weird.
And he got a
Okay,
first
that's
try.
nice.
Nice. That's a lot harder than that looked.
Yeah, there's like a very specific way you have to do that makes it weird.
That's one of those things you could easily sit there jumping at that wall for half an hour.
Yeah,
You can waste a lot of
always-
time right there.
I always did a super jump to get up there.
Yeah, I would try that once and then do a super jump, because I'm not going to sit there and jump at that wall all day.
Yeah, you can just jump up to this broken ladder. I don't think that's intended, but
No, I
mean,
think you're supposed to spin that little flower and get up there, but for some reason you can just jump up there. Kind of a,
I mean,
either
it is a tight
Ah,
jump,
man.
but it's pretty easy to do.
either is an oversight or it was intended, I guess. I don't know.
Or they just didn't care.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that could be it too. I mean, it's good for us.
It's the first time. Oh, he didn't hit the garlic dispenser.
Okay, so this guy is just like one of the most annoying parts of the game right there, honestly.
They put all the enemies right there, right in the
Yeah.
way.
And here's you're gonna see him grab the gold statue piece here as he's going up.
No, I'm not.
You
I got the text box earlier.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I forget where. Oh yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, so that's the only you can actually skip that one, but I don't think we can we haven't been able to figure out why that one time worked.
Well, if you go at the spring, if you like hit the spring at an angle, you can miss it, but it's kind of hard.
Yeah, and I don't think it saves any time. If
Definitely
it
not
does,
enough
it's,
worth going for.
yeah.
Anyway, normally that would be the first and only Wario piece you'd collect.
Yeah, and
But it's
you
really easy
just,
to run into them. So
Yeah, if you can just mash A to get through that.
yeah. So this one here is a little mini boss that you have to throw these nuts at it, or whatever. What do they call these things? Like
I
the tree
forget, man.
creatures and things?
I just call them the trees.
Yeah, the tree. But you're supposed to ground pound the ground and have the nuts like angle towards you, because it has a little spot you're supposed to be able to grab it. But for some reason, if you press R and A right next to it, you'll just
Yeah,
grab it from
and
any angle.
If you keep an eye, you'll notice that Saria just skipped the arena there. So this is actually the new reroute. You used to
part right
super
here.
jump directly up to the tree, but now we do a super jump here and grab this trapdoor.
The one that
Instead.
we did before, the trapdoor was a lot slower, and it also involved doing a more risky super jump instead of these two that he's about to do.
Yeah, these ones are pretty easy to perform because they don't have to be very high, and you can try them over and over again. Where this one,
Yeah.
you would super jump directly up to this tree, and it does have to be high, and if you fall all the way down, it's very difficult to climb back up.
Yeah, and
It just takes a long time.
yeah, but you just don't want to fall down there where I was at, or else you have to do that super jump as a backup, and that's just not fun.
Again, they spammed enemies like a Mario Maker level here.
All right, here's the boss fight we were talking
Yeah, so
about.
Spider Atticus, you have to do it in such a specific way, and it's very annoying. I will let Nick explain this because he will know better than me.
Okay, so that first hit he just did, when he starts charging at you, you can hit him for a few seconds.
That's
So
not
you have
good.
to charge at him and hit him. Alright, so he missed it there. You're supposed to hit him again after he jumps back to the middle. And you punch him again, then do the same thing. Then after that, it changes, and the next 3 cycles are completely different. So we'll see if he gets that. But since he missed, he's just going to have to do it the intended way, which is just to ride these things back and
Oh.
ground pound on top.
Okay.
Okay, nice save. Nice save.
Yeah, I knew that was a backup, so I wasn't too worried.
Okay, so let's see. Basically, you're going to wait till he jumps behind you, dash behind him, and punch him on the back as he's walking away. Okay, or yeah, that works too.
That was
Yeah,
not exactly how you're supposed to do that.
This
but it
not
worked.
this
exactly right.
this is a very finicky boss fight.
And yeah, so this part is really difficult because he turns around and if he, yeah, see, that is what happens. If he does that, then you just can't hit him that cycle, and you have to wait till he walks back to the middle.
Oh, I tried to get greedy there.
Yeah, so Saria might die here.
Might
It's not
game
that
over
big of a
here.
deal.
Yeah, he has enough. Like if you can get back to life with coins, he probably has enough coins at this point. So this last one, he's gonna try to do the same thing, and it's especially hard because he turns around and walks back extremely quickly.
I was stuck.
And then he,
Yeah,
yeah.
unfortunate.
That's basically
So-
that's usually what a spider fight typically looks like, something like that.
Yeah. Doing the most optimal one here is very difficult. Like, it's like 10 times harder than every
It's-
other boss fight.
It's
Oh,
a lot
man.
harder. It's hard to explain how hard it actually is. Like, it's a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah, that third hit was a little bit of a miracle, honestly.
Where's the fastest? Like, I've never.
Alright, well, you know what? I got
Nick
one of
is
the hits.
talking under a blanket now. Alright, which fight is this?
Red Brief J.
Oh yeah, so Red Brief J is probably one of the easiest boss fights, but he is so unbearably boring.
And if you mess him up, things can go not very fun.
Yeah, so literally all you do is walk and get him to go over here, and then boom.
Yeah, it is pretty much just another auto scroller.
There's a lot of basically auto scrollers in this game. He does do some attacks in the middle, but like none of them are difficult to avoid.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but if you stand further away from him, he charges faster.
Yeah, he starts his charge faster if you're on like the edges of the platform.
So yeah, that's a little micro optimization that's standing.
Yeah, I think a couple seconds over the course of the whole fight.
Yeah, that's not that much, but it is free time save that you can get.
Yeah.
So I'll be taking it. You get a lot of coins from this fight as well, which is pretty nice.
It also might be the laggiest part in the game.
Yeah, unless you're playing. If you get like a bad Captain Skull kill, that can
That's
lag a
true.
lot.
Yeah,
Turn
but
the
that
sound
lag
on.
doesn't last very long.
Yeah, this whole boss is just laggy. I mean, it's
Oh, I thought I could dodge that.
that's like the one thing you don't want to do in this fight. Is get hit
Now
by
he
him.
cycles
You have to do
again.
his whole cycle all over again.
Oh, okay.
And that gives you a perfect example of what happens when you have a 1 in a million mess up in this fight.
When you get
just
too
lose a
bored.
bunch of time. Yeah, you get too bored, so you mess up.
Also, like he takes an entire heart if you get hit by him, so it's not hard to game over in this particular boss.
If he does
especially
a
in any
spin
time.
attack, I'm gonna have to avoid this.
Yeah, you have to just avoid him now.
Yeah, I almost got hit anyway.
Normally you get hit there on purpose to cancel it, but since he has one heart, he can't do that. Otherwise, it's going game over.
And there we go, it's finally over.
So that's like the most boring part of the run.
Yeah, so believe it or not, that was
Oh.
not 2 hours, that was only like 2 minutes.
Yeah, about 2.5 minutes.
So now we're on to World 4 and on to the hardest level of the game.
Yeah, probably the most hated level in this game.
And
Yeah,
there's
I
a
don't
lot of super jumps, a lot of difficult tricks.
I don't think there's a single person that would disagree with this being the hardest level.
Yeah,
and it's kind of funny because it's followed by a really easy level.
yeah,
World 4 has
relatively.
like one of the hardest and one of the easiest levels in the whole game, just right after one
Yeah.
after another.
Yeah.
So weird.
No, I
So
don't
I'd
think
say-
I don't think I ever sleep on pecan sand. Sometimes that can do dumb stuff, especially
In
the
any
boss fight.
percent, like in any percent, it's not bad, but 100% it's horrific.
So here we go with the hardest level.
So this level is, I think, the most linear level. Like it's completely just a straight line.
And the first level is also very linear.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but the first level has like a part, like that part over the top, where there's a trap door.
No.
Well,
No,
this level also has the part after the arena that you can go to the right of. So
Don't
Oh, yeah, I guess
let
that's
that
true.
trick you though. It may be linear, but is very difficult.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Linear definitely.
There's
doesn't-
actually not necessarily a new strategy, but it is recently implemented that we're gonna see not too long from now, actually.
But this one just has a lot of super jumps because there's gates. Like those gates, there's 2 of those, right? That you have to skip.
Oh man. Unfortunate.
Yeah, so he wanted to get him early so that he wouldn't have to go through that attack cycle thing.
It's not that big of a deal though. Playing this safe because I really don't want to fall down here.
Yeah, a lot of these platforming sections are actually really difficult because for some reason they made Wario insanely floaty in this game, which makes him really awkward to control at times.
Stuff like those spinning rings, like Wario's physics interacting with those is so strange and hard to control. Like when he hits that, like if you jump onto that last ring that's spinning, it'll just shoot you.
So this is new. Not new, but it's recently implemented because if you skip that portrait by super jumping over it, you'll see here, the camera doesn't pan down when you go down this hole.
Yeah, you have to do 2 unbuffered super jumps without being able to see. Basically, so you just have to know where you are.
You are required to do unbuffered super jumps as well.
Yeah, I mean you could try to do them buffer, but like don't do it.
They're just harder down here.
It's gonna be harder. But basically, the reason this was never implemented is because of because the camera doesn't follow you down. So it's
Yeah, but when you enter this trapdoor, it does follow you after that.
yeah.
So-
once you
The
come
camera
out of
will
it.
be normal now.
And you do grab the trapdoor anyway, so I don't believe, like, if he were to have gotten first try super jumps, I don't believe that would have saved much time. I don't think you'll usually save time doing that. You're not good at moving around, but it is a cool trick.
The
Okay,
that
I'm
point-
gonna try this probably buffered like one more time. Okay.
Oh, nice,
That,
nice.
that is the hardest arena skip to perform.
So, yeah.
Probably.
Pretty sure
It has a
that's-
lower risk factor though compared to the
Slowest,
ice.
it might be the most precise super jump in the whole game because it can't be too low and it also can't be too high. That super
Yeah,
jump has
so-
to be perfect, and your angle has to be right too. So there's a few factors that you have to get right.
What you saw there was the buffer super jumps you were talking about. I'm actually gonna not do the super jumps just because I don't want to mess it up. So normally you can do a super jump over this gate, but it's not too much of a time save, and if I mess it up, I can lose a lot of time. So I'm just gonna spin the guy around.
It only saves like 10 seconds probably anyway.
Yeah,
If even
probably not
that.
even that. if you take the
Yeah,
time
probably
to set
not.
it
Yeah,
up and
probably
all
not
that.
even.
This is another one
Okay,
where
well,
it's
that
like
was
not necessarily difficult, but it can go wrong pretty easily.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
play it safe. So I tried to go for a faster cycle there, but unfortunately, I was a little dumb there. But it's fine. I got through the trapdoor.
So
Oh.
at the end of this one, he's just gonna fall off on purpose so he can get back to the beginning platform and hit that spring. That's a little bit faster than
Yeah.
going to the end spring. Now up here, we're gonna see the second portrait, which is a lot easier to skip. Jump around it.
Yeah, it is still precise to do that though.
Yeah, it's more precise than it looks, but I'd say it's definitely. I mean, it's I guess not easier than the first one, but you don't have to deal with the camera not following you or anything like that. So you just jump around it and then that's it.
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying in 100% because you have to jump back around it to go back and get a treasure, and then jump back again to get over here again.
Also, this is the only statue in the game where the gems don't have a hitbox. Or is that the next level?
I think you're thinking of the only time where they do have like a. Yeah, the next level is like really weird with how the statue flip works. I really don't like. Or the doohickey, I guess is what it's actually called.
Yeah, stone doohickey.
Yeah, so this boss is also difficult, but not because it's actually hard. It's because for some reason they made these cups go way too fast in order to cycle. There's also RNG. You saw he started to do like a little dance there. If he does that, it's better because then you can defeat it
There's-
quicker.
There's RNG, and I think the best versus worst RNG is like 10-second difference.
So
You,
yeah,
know, you
good
want to
RNG
get the
going.
skating world, you want him to do that because then you can punch him right away. But the real hard part about this is just the very last cycle, the cups spin around at ridiculous speed, and it can
Even
be
the
really
second
hard to crack.
cycle is difficult.
And then it can be hard.
That's an example of bad RNG because he spins away like that.
Yeah, and then you just have to wait for him to come back. It doesn't take much longer though.
I actually don't know what determines which cup he goes back into, actually.
It's just the
Like,
one
there he
who's
went back into the
last
right cup.
I don't know, it might be random.
one. I'm
But that's
sure
pretty
it's
good
the
RNG
last
overall. Yeah, that was pretty good. So, because the cup he didn't move that much. Sometimes the cup he's in moves way too
Oh
much.
no.
You can't crack him.
You have to wait a
This
little
boss
bit
fight-
longer for literally no reason in this fight. Now we have a little bit of a break. The stream froze for a second. I thought his game crashed.
No. My game hasn't crashed yet. I hope it doesn't crash, but yeah.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Okay, so now we have Pecan Sands, which is, like I said, a lot easier than the last level. There's still a lot that can go wrong, so I'm not going to say this is an easy level. And the levels that we've been doing, so hopefully I don't mess it up too much.
It's also really short compared
Yeah.
to the last level.
We go from the longest level to one of the shortest levels in the game.
Also, it's the
Oh,
most
okay.
open
I messed
level.
up there.
It's completely open for the most part.
One thing that's
you
kind of
messed
hard
that
about
up.
this game is that a lot of the trapdoors, it's really hard to memorize which trapdoors work, so sometimes I have to take a second to recognize which one it is. In this trapdoor, if I do that, I lose a lot of time, so that's a little unfortunate.
For that one, he messed up, and he was supposed to hit both the blocks at the same time, but he only hit the one. The only way to reset that is to leave and come back. Otherwise, you can super jump up there if you want to mess with that. That's how you can recover it if you don't want to leave the door.
Here's another one of these. That was kind of scary, but you got on there.
Yeah, there's really nothing to say about that one. It's just exactly what it looks like.
Yeah.
That's like this entire level in a nutshell. It's like, there's not much to say about this level that hasn't been said already.
Yeah, I mean, you can. Yeah, it's kind of just what it looks like it is. This one here is interesting because the way you do this, or the way you're intended to do this, like no one really knows, as far as I can tell, how you're supposed to do this.
Okay. I kind of had a brain.
You-
No,
that's
that's not right. Okay.
No, that isn't.
But it's
But you can do it on the
okay,
other
I
one.
can do it over here now, which is a little scuffed, but I can
You
make
have
it
to
work.
arrange these blocks in a specific way. If you mess it up, then you have to start over.
Like that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really knows how you're supposed to actually do that.
How did Nintendo expect that to be done? Because I can't imagine that was how it was supposed to be done.
Yeah, that's way too difficult to be the casual way of doing
not-
it.
Yeah, it's not obvious at all.
I do agree, but I feel like why else would they put a ceiling that you can void out in? You know what I mean?
I think all of them you can.
Oh, I never voided out in another one just because it's like you never go that high
I
up.
mean,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
Yeah,
you
but, like-
can't go that high up.
Yeah, but I think if you could, you do in all of them.
That thing was pulling me in there, so I was
Oh, he
moving
just
slow.
jumped around that guy. You know what I mean?
So I think
I-
this might be the easiest arena to dip actually in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Right there.
Okay, so there was an arena there, but it's placed in such a way to where you can just not go into it, and then you've skipped it. It's less of a skip and more of a just not going into it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, this level is the least linear level in the game, which is one of the reasons why we can do it so fast.
Yeah, because you can you have a lot more options when it comes to routing because it's so open. I would kind of wish
Yeah.
more of the levels were like this. This is cool. There's a lot that
Having
goes
the
in.
game open world would definitely be very interesting.
Yeah. You can go all the way to this one. Not much to say about this one. You just
Yeah, this one is more difficult than it looks because for some reason Wario just likes to not charge when he
on that
when you have to.
marshmallow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. The
Yeah.
the dash.
That was
control-
actually the last chapter of the whole run.
Yep, that's the last one. But yeah, dashing on that little marshmallow platform can be finicky. Otherwise, it's not way too bad.
That collision's also weirder than it looks.
And there's another super jump here.
This
Alright,
super jump.
I'll go for it one more time, and I'm gonna just do the
Oh, boy.
shovels. Alright, I'm gonna do the shovels.
Here are the
I'm not gonna-
shovels.
I don't like these guys, but I'd rather not
You
deal
go
with the
too
buffers.
far to the right. If you go too far to the right there, you spawn these guys, which are how you're supposed to get there. You're supposed to throw them into the wall, and then they
I
act.
think I
as
messed
spawns,
up.
But
I did mess up. Okay, well, this is going very bad, but These shovels
the-
are some of the
These are
worst parts of the
similar to
game.
the magnets from earlier, but
That's
The
like
reason
one of
it's
the
annoying
worst parts of the game.
As you're trying to throw them into the wall, the other ones are zapping you, so you don't want to get a chance. Normally, you want to do the super jump without spawning those guys. That's the idea. So because that thing was sucking you up, it's hard to do the clip there, the trapdoor clip or the boss clip.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna probably die here actually.
Iron Cider, another boss that can go very wrong.
Yeah. It's not that big of a deal though. He's spinning around still. So yeah, this boss fight is a boss fight that if it goes well, it is really fast. But if it goes bad, it can go really bad.
Like this boss can be like 25 seconds if you do it optimally.
Oh my
But
god.
with the hands, I mean, and also the way the camera moves around, it's very finicky.
Man, this is not going how I would like it to go at all.
and also jumping over that flame is very difficult for some reason. So you have to ground pound into the sand to avoid it sometimes.
I missed that time.
It's not very fortunate for Sorry here.
This is very bad. I've only hit him twice.
This is how it usually goes for me.
This is often.
Yeah, I
how
mean, you
it-
can't game over again, or else you're like, that's gonna be a really bad situation.
No,
'Cause you're not gonna have
I have
funds.
enough. I will
Oh,
have
you
enough.
do.
I'll barely have enough, but I don't want to. I don't want to have one. I don't want to have one life for Black Jewel. All right, there's my third hit finally.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to pick these things up and throw them at him, but while you're doing that, he's shooting fire at you, so he doesn't really give you a chance.
Yeah, this boss fight is not very good.
Yeah, and also just casually, it's not that interesting.
It's dumb.
Alright,
Thank
that's
God.
The Captain's Hill is next up. Which, I mean, I don't know what else to say about it that we didn't say about all the other bosses. Just a lot to go wrong.
Yeah, so this guy is another boss that if you do it well, it's really quick. If you don't do it well, it's really, really slow.
In fact, in some cases, it's easier just to leave and start over than to try to fix it.
Yeah. Hopefully this goes well, because
Basically, the idea is you just keep hitting him with barrels and never give him the chance to get out.
Another thing is, this doesn't really matter, but I'm pretty sure this is the only boss that Wario kind of struggles to carry, because he walks slower with him.
That's true, yeah. And he also takes a long time to pick him up.
Yeah, that's
Nelson,
too.
bruh.
That's true. That doesn't come up anywhere else in the game, does it?
I don't think so.
Okay, one more hit.
And
Alright, there we go.
nice.
That was basically perfect. So what can
You
happen
see the
there is
lag there.
you throw the barrel and miss him, then he'll like hook shot to the other side of the level and you'll have to go chase after him. It's just a whole thing.
Alright. Wait, now we have Black Jewel, which is the final boss of the game. I'm gonna save here because if you die on Black Jewel without saving and you run out of lives, you'll actually be forced to go back to the title screen, and because we haven't saved this whole run, I wouldn't be able to finish. Although I do have a save file at Black Jewel, so I could load that up, I guess, but I'd rather not have to.
This is the longest boss in the game.
Yeah.
So the
Um,
most repetitive.
I guess you could talk about the differences between this and the Japanese version.
Okay, so the main difference between this and the Japanese version, besides like glitches, is the final boss. Like that's the big thing. This version has like a pretty basic final boss. So you have 8 cycles or 8 phases that are all exactly the same, whereas like 8 lives. Every life is the same. Whereas the Japanese one, you have 2 phases of like each 4 lives. Each one has 4 lives, divided in half, and it's a
Yeah.
lot faster. It's just a completely different boss fight for some reason. That's like the biggest difference. So the idea here is you're just gonna dash around the level and
Controlling me.
hit these
Yeah.
spritelings.
The
No.
fight in this version of the game is lame.
It's lame, but
It's such an anticlimactic fight for the end of the game because it's so
Yeah.
boring.
and it's like casually it's really easy, but doing this fast without getting hit or losing or gaming over, I guess, can be kind of difficult. The idea is you avoid his fire by at the beginning of the phase.
This is not good. I'm gonna let these things go away.
You will
But
go
these
to the
things,
left.
what these things can do is these fire right there can hit you after you grab him, and if that happens, you have to repeat the cycle. And I am not really
That's the
willing
main
to do that.
boss, is that you can just drop him basically.
Oh, that's not good. I'm gonna take the hit for now. I have enough health considering the cycle count.
Yeah, there's literally nothing else to say about this fight. It's the
It's just
exact
this.
same.
It's just this 8 times in a row.
I feel like this boss fight would have been like, because there's 40 spritelings throughout the game.
Yeah.
They should have just done like 8 crystals in 5 cycles, or maybe even like 10 crystals in 4 cycles. Okay, I'm starting to take a bit too much damage. So I'm gonna be a little
That's
more
what the
careful.
first 4 cycles of the Japanese version looks like, basically. Just
Yeah.
10 per cycle for the first 4 lives, then a completely different fight for the second half.
And if you notice, they're all in their little box cages because we didn't get any of them besides the first one.
You're forced to get the first one. There's no.
Yeah, there's literally no way around it. If you go
Yeah.
like a million units above it, you still fall down to the cutscene trigger.
And that trigger goes all the way to the top for some reason.
Man, this is such unlucky. Okay, I did this thing before.
So normally, like, you don't want him to get to this point where he's shooting those rings.
Yeah, because I'm losing a lot of time here.
The reason he goes to the left there at the beginning is to sort of manipulate the pattern that he shoots his light like fire in. Because if you don't, he'll shoot it like in front of you, and then you'll have no way to avoid it.
I hate that so much.
We're just kind of trying to find anything to talk about, to be honest. Like this
Nope.
is this is not a very interesting boss fight.
I mean, basically, it is what it looks like it is, basically. There's nothing else really to say about it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. Jesus Christ.
It can be really stressful, though, at the end of a really good run.
That is
Yeah,
true.
I'm really trying to finish on the rest of it. I'm probably gonna barely. It'll be really close. But considering all the dumb stuff that's happened this run, I'm not too upset.
Yeah, I do believe we're still ahead of schedule, so
Yeah, I mean, I'm finishing like seconds behind estimate, so it's fine. Okay, only that cycle was the fucking.
Alright,
last one.
so we're
Okay.
coming up on time now.
Alright, so time is gonna end when Wario stops moving here.
So
Time. Alright, well I got a 57:05 on my timer. I did gold one split
GGs.
that run, so I guess I'll
Oh,
take
yeah?
it.
Nice. GG's. What split did you gold?
I golded it Captain Skull by 0.3 seconds.
Nice. That makes sense. That was a good captain's goal.
Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed the run. A lot went wrong, but it's still... I got to show off some pretty cool stuff. Like, I think that Mirror Mansion was actually really good. I only missed gold by like 3 seconds.
Oh, yeah, and you got that. You got the, that arena skip, like, 3rd try or something. So that was really good.
Yeah, so... You know what? For the parts that went good, they were pretty good. The parts that went bad were pretty bad.
And that sums up this game, I think. In a lot of ways.
Yeah, so... I think it was a decent showcase of what the game has to offer, although some parts weren't that well, but whatever. I'm happy with it.
So GG's to you, Saria.
Yes, thank you.
You can see this cutscene's pretty funny. That previous cutscene's pretty funny with the with all the boxes dancing around. There's only one of them.
Yep.
So this game has a similar thing to Luigi's Mansion, where the more spritlings you collect, the better mansion you get at the end.
And
So
this
instead of
one-
money, it's the spritlings.
And there's 6 different endings, depending on how many you get.
I think there's 6 in Luigi's Mansion too.
That's so weird.
I'm pretty sure, right? Saria? I'm right about that.
What'd you say?
is there 6 mansions you can get at the end of Luigi's Mansion?
I think there's like 8 because it's A B C D E F G H.
Oh yeah, right. My bad. Unfortunate. No F tier. Well, yeah, that's the end of the game now.
Yeah.
And
hear
just
this, song.
and just a reminder, Saria is also running 2 more runs in the marathon, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. On Saturday, he's running Luigi's Mansion 90% no out of bounds, and on Sunday, he's running New Super Mario Bros. Wii 90% no World 5.
Yeah, so those runs will surely go better than this. So stay tuned for those. At least at Luigi's Mansion, I'm pretty confident that that will go pretty good.
And we're about to see what mansion Wario got.
Yeah. And this is the tent, like Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, there's similarities to the ending. I like how he just has a throne outside. Spent most of his budget on that.
And there's the ending. No more.
GG.
Thank you for having me, and I am excited to run tomorrow and Sunday.
Sign on.